Okay, well, welcome to another episode of Wrenchie, and we're going to continue the maintenance work on our 2012 Ninja 1000. So far we've already done our oil change and filter, air filter maintenance, and coolant flush, and new spark plugs. So in the chain and sprockets, we're going to be removing the cover plate to get to the front sprocket. We'll have to remove our chain with a chain breaker and try to get the nut off on the front here, which is always going to be a challenge, but we'll see how that goes. So let's get into it. Okay, so we're going to need to get the cover plate off. It's held in with some 8mm bolts. As you take this off, we need to be really careful because this wire here is our speed sensor. So you want to make sure we don't damage that, or else no more speedometer. Okay, look at all that nice crud built up from dirt and oil. This is the speed sensor right here. That's the wire coming on the back of it. So we're going to need to take out these 3 screws. Okay, so now you can see there's our speed sensor held in. There we go. That's our speed sensor. We want to keep that safe and out of the way. And this mess we will clean up before we put that all back on. Here's our front sprocket, and this is the nut with where the speed sensor detects the speed. Right here you can see that this washer right there has been bent up against the nut to hold it. So we have to bend that back, and we're going to replace that with a new washer. That didn't work at all. We're going to try something a little different. Got it. Okay. It's loose and not broken, so that's all good. We're just leaving it on there finger tight, because we're going to want to take the chain off. This is the MotionPro PBR chain tool. Comes all in this kit with the instructions and all the parts you need to do a chain job on your bike. The tool shows these capabilities that it has as a press, brake, and rivet stenciled on the side. There's this corresponding die. I don't know if this will show up in the camera, but etched onto the side, or onto the end here, is a PB and R for press, brake, and rivet. And you simply take the die and orient it such that it's lined up, the letter on the die is lined up with the function you need. If you want to break your chain, you'd line up the B here on the die with the brake on the stencil. You'd put your chain between the die and the shaft here. You'd snug this down onto the chain so that it's tight, and then you turn this inner screw. You can see the plunger comes out, and that'll go ahead and pop the pin out of your chain. Likewise, if you're going to press the plate on, there's a press mode on here where it's simply just presses the plate onto the front of the chain. And then there's also a rivet mode where this little ball is magnetic and it sits on here, and you orient this for the rivet mode like this, and put your chain in between, and by cranking this down, the outer, it lowers it onto the pin and crimps it over, or rivets it. Comes with this handle, very handy for keeping it steady as you're holding it. And I'll put a link in the notes below so you can find more information for yourself. Okay, that's all ground out. Okay, with our breaker tool in our hand here, we're going to align this and put it in the brake mode, which is, again, lining up the B on the die with the brake on the side here. Believe it or not, that's actually lined up. And then we're going to go and break that chain there, so we get this aligned. Put this device lined up on the rivet we just ground down, and snug this down. Okay. Comes with this handle to hold on to. Get a wrench on it, and theoretically, when we tighten it up, it'll poke that pin straight out of our chain. Oh, there, now you can feel it. It went completely loose. So that's the ticket. When it goes completely loose, an easy turn, you're all the way through. Awesome. And there's the pin from the chain. Chain's loose. Success. There it is. Cool. Here's the replacement rear sprocket. It's stock. It's exactly the same one as that's on there now, and I just cleaned a little spot off here just to look at the wear. And there's a little bit of wear on the new one, or I'm sorry, on the old one, but not bad. That's good. Teeth are a little pointier than the new sprocket, but all in all, not bad wear. But when you replace the chain, you'll want to replace the sprockets. Okay, gotta get the rear wheel off, so we need to remove the rear axle. There's a retaining clip here we'll need to pull out, the axle bolt. We should just be able to drop the tire off. to put a little thread lock on these, just a tad. And these are torqued down to 44 foot-pounds. I just had to check that in the manual. I'm going to tighten the nuts in a star pattern so you get the sprocket mounted flush and not uneven. Okay, now go ahead and replace, let's go ahead and replace the front sprocket. Recall we already loosened that up, that was a challenge. So we should just be able to spin this off, replace the washer and the sprocket itself. Ready to put the new one on. So here's our new replacement. And we'll just slip that on. New one on, and washer. And the nut. Now I'm not going to be able to torque this down just yet. I need to get the rear tire and the chain on and be able to torque that properly.
Shall we begin? Let's begin now.
Our new chain on, and then we'll be able to torque this down once we get the master link installed. So here's our new chain. Feed this through. Probably taking off the chain guard would be make this a little simpler, but we'll fight our way through it because it's just a matter of getting it right to here. That's all you need to do. So you can grab it. There we go. And then feed it up over our front sprocket. By the way, if you're just changing your chain only and not sprockets for whatever reason, a little trick I did before was to take the master link out, or the link out of the chain, and then chain the new chain and the old chain together with just the pin, and then just take the old chain off, pulls the new chain on, and automatically threads it. It's kind of easy. But this isn't so bad. So it looks like we are at least 2 lengths short. So I'm hoping that is because of just, oh yeah, the chain adjusters are way, way back. So here's the O-ring kit. It's got the link, the end plate, and the O-rings, and a packet of grease. And the way this goes on is we get the link in, we grease the pins, we get the link put together, put the O-rings on the other side, put the plate on, press the plate on with our with our tool, and then we have to rivet the end here over to make it a secure link. Here's our new chain, and get some grease on these pins. I'm to understand it's actually easier to do this, they say, from a slack chain in the middle, but I don't know, seems to go in pretty good to me. Alright, we'll get our O-rings on. After we get the pins in and the O-rings on, we're supposed to put grease on both sides of the plate. I guess the grease helps hold the plate onto the pins as we're attempting to muck with it and get it on. Let's see about that. Like so. What I need a little handle here, I think will help. Let's back this off and take a look. So you can see the plate is now pressed on. Just a little grease there. And those are the pins that need to be riveted over. I think that looks okay. Our tool set up now on the rivet configuration. So we're supposed to line up this little indentation with the back of the pin, and this little ball pins it over. Someone told me, the manual doesn't say so, but it says something about a lot of grease on there to help it. Put a little grease on the ball as well. Okay, that feels good. Feels good. How do you know you got it far enough? Jeez, that's the... I think it's just crank and tap and back it off and check it. Alright, that's a crank. Let's back it off and check it. Well, that looks flared. Let's do the other one. We can always come back. Okay. Back that off. Check it. Okay, we are getting some flare. They say the instructions say to flare it to, rivet it to manufacturer specification. Manufacturer does not specify. I've read everything, and nowhere can I find a specification. So if you guys have done this like a bunch of times, and you could give me some tips on this, and to know better how much to flare this, I'd really appreciate it. So my guess is I'm going to try to get it roughly the size of the permanent rivets. I don't think they'll be able to go as big. Torque spec is 92 foot-pounds. Glad I checked. Look out, GoPro! We need to bend up one side of this washer over a flat side of the nut. There we go. You can see I cleaned all that gunk out of there. It was pretty disgusting. All nice and shiny now, so we just need to put our speed sensor back in. It goes to that hole. After replacing the bolts on the cover plate, that completes the chain and sprocket maintenance. I'll put a link down below on the tools, and so you can get your own chain breaker kit. And I hope to tune in next time, and we'll be looking at doing the tires and wheel bearings. So thanks for watching, and please subscribe and leave some comments for us so we can all get better at wrenching. Take care.